Welcome again, and thank you for staying with us. Let's go straight into Lesson 2. Lesson 2 deals with identifying figures of speech in literary text. These would be simile, metaphor, and personification. Because we are only asked to identify these figures of speech, this question would be at the literal level. Figures of speech are words or phrase that diverges from its normal meaning. It is not based on the literal meaning of the words. They often provide emphasis, freshness of expression, or clarity. These include metaphors, simile, or personification. A simile is a comparison made using as or like. Let's look at this example. The mango chow was hot like fire. The mango chow is compared here to fire using the word like. Mango chow, fire, tells us that the mango chow was extremely hot. Let's look at another example. Remember, a simile is a comparison made using as or like. My bag is as heavy as a truckload of bricks. Here, the weight of the person's bag is being compared to the weight of a truckload of bricks. Bag, truckload of bricks. Well, of course, if you were to carry around a truckload of bricks, you would end up with some severe back pain. So the weight of the bag is compared to a truckload of bricks using the word as. This is an example of a simile. Another type of figure of speech would be the metaphor. A metaphor is a comparison made without using as or like. An example would be, the curtain of night quickly fell upon us. Here, the night is compared to a curtain. What happens when a curtain is drawn? It normally gets very dark very quickly. Here, the descent of darkness is compared to a curtain being drawn, telling us that it got dark very quickly. Let's look at another example. Remember, a metaphor is a comparison made without using as or like. Rodney had to slither through the crowd to get to his destination. Rodney's movement is compared to slithering. What animal slithers? A snake. So here, Rodney's movement through the crowd is compared to that of a snake. In order to get through the crowd, Rodney had to make the slithering movements of a snake. And finally, we have the personification. Personification is when an inanimate object is given human-like qualities. An example would be the coconut trees danced in the wind. Here, the movement of the coconut trees is being compared to dancing. I am sure that you would have visited one of our many beaches before and would have seen the coconut trees swaying in the wind. This movement is compared to that of dancing, which is done by people. The wind blowing through the coconut trees gave them the appearance of dancing. Because we gave the coconut tree the ability to dance, we consider that to be a personification. Let's look at another example. Remember, a personification is when inanimate objects are given human qualities. The sun peeped playfully through the clouds. The sun peeped playfully tells us that the sun was playing a game of some sort with the clouds. The sun, although the dark clouds were present, one could still see the sun, similar to when you are playing peekaboo with a baby. Because the sun is given the ability to peep, this literary device is considered to be a personification. Here, the sun is given human-like qualities. Let's check. Let's see if you have been paying attention so far. I want you to identify one simile used in stanza 3 of the poem. Well, I'll take you directly to stanza 3. For hours on end, no two images were ever the same, as the clouds on their journey came. As if on film, this movie played, while quietly on my back I stayed. Remember, a simile is a comparison using as or like. The word as is used twice in this stanza. Which line contains the simile? The first as is used as a conjunction. It joins the first sentence to the second, so it's not the simile. Therefore, as if on film is our simile in this stanza, because it compares the images formed by the clouds to the images that will be projected on film. let's see if you have been paying attention. I want you to identify one metaphor used in stanza 3 of the poem. Remember, a metaphor is a comparison made without using as or like. Let's read the stanza again. For hours on end, no two images were ever the same, as the clouds on their journey came. As if on film, this movie played, while quietly on my back I stayed. Here, we are asked to identify the metaphor in stanza 3 of the poem. The clouds are compared to images and movie. The metaphor can be found in the line, this movie played, because the cloud is compared, the movement of the clouds is compared to a movie. Let's see if you've been paying attention thus far. Let's do a practice exercise. I want you to state whether each of the following is a simile, metaphor, or personification. I was as calm as a waveless ocean. The kitchen is the heart of the home. He roars like a lion when he is cheering his favorite team. The storm took the house in its teeth and shook it. Daniel, the human lightning bolt, won the race. The green vines wound their arms around the rusty gate. I'm sure that you were able to figure these out quite easily. Let's check and see if you were correct. I was as calm as a waveless ocean. Here, the person is compared to a waveless ocean using the words as, because it's a comparison using the words as, it's a simile. The kitchen is the heart of the home. Here, the kitchen is compared to a heart being the center or one of the most vital organs in our body. Because we compare the kitchen to the heart, but we do not use the words as or like, this would be a metaphor. He roars like a lion when he's cheering his favorite team. Here, the person's cheering is being compared to the roaring of a lion using the word like. Because it's a comparison using the word like, this is a simile. The storm took the house in its teeth and shook it. Storms don't generally have teeth, but humans do. Because the storm is given human-like qualities, then you guessed it correct. This is an example of personification. Daniel, the human lightning bolt, won the race. Daniel is being compared to a lightning bolt. Lightning bolts normally flash very quickly. Daniel's movement during the race is compared to the flashing of the lightning bolt. Because we have a comparison here without using as or like, then this would be an example of a metaphor. And finally, the green vines wound their arms around the rusty gate. Well, vines don't generally have arms, but because humans do, and the vine is an inanimate object, this would be an example of personification. Congratulations, I'm sure that you got all of those correct. Let's review what we have learned so far in this lesson. We have learned that a simile is a comparison made using as or like. We have learned that a metaphor is a comparison made without using as or like. And we have learned that personification is when inanimate objects are given human-like qualities. Stay tuned. When we return, we are going to continue with today's lesson.